Welcome back. This is Kivumbi 2017. The murder of an ICT officer was not a worst-case scenario in the process of preparing for the general election. And when the news broke that IEBC's ICT manager was missing for 2 days, the news was hardly believable. But the sad reality set in yesterday afternoon when family members identified his body at the city mortuary here in Nairobi, a blow to his family, IEBC, and the country at large. The sad reality is the basis of our conversation in the Dawn debate today. And in studio, I have with me police spokesman Charles Sowino. Many thanks for joining us on Kivumbi 2017.
Thank you.
What are authorities treating this as? Is it a murder, an assassination? How is it being handled?
Definitely, when a person dies in the manner in which the Deputy ICT Director died, then definitely he has been killed by someone. He has not died on a road accident. He has not died a natural death. When you talk about assassination, then it means you are taking a political direction.
Right.
But basically, as officers, the most important thing is to get the killer. Once you get the killer, then you will be able to get the motive. Because many a times you find that killings come on several reasons.
Right.
And there are also persons who may take advantage of a situation as it is to kill you for another reason, one reason or another. You can be killed out of envy. You can be killed out of competition. You can be killed out of other interests that may occur. But basically what happens is that it's the finality of what is found that determines the motive of the killing.
Right, and this, of course, is an incident that has left more questions than answers even for Kenyans. And the biggest question troubling Kenyans is whether there was a communication breakdown even within the security, the police service itself. Because if witness accounts are anything to go by, it is said that men who were thought to be police officers, because they were dressed as police officers, actually visited the site where the body of Msando was found, took pictures and left. Now, the question, there is also, according to witness accounts, that a team of police officers took the body to the city mortuary. So why is it then that that body was taken on Saturday, but on Sunday, we still had another team of security officers still searching for Msando?
It's important to understand the circumstances. The Msando apparently went missing on Friday evening. I remember he was here in KTN.
Yes.
That Friday evening. And unfortunately, the family never reported that he was missing, because it was over the weekend. If it was over the weekdays, it would have been possible for the following day to ask where he was, because maybe he could not have reported on duty. So the family did not report on Saturday. They reported on Sunday. The body was found on Saturday from Kikuyu. And you see, the police find many bodies, not just one body.
Right.
When a body is found and it has no identification, you see, at that time, as at Saturday when it was found, nobody had been reported missing, and more so a prominent person. So the police officers in Kikuyu simply picked the body and brought to the city mortuary. But what they did, they took the fingerprints. They got one body, brought to the mortuary, and then after a while still at the scene, they realized there was another body about 400 meters away, which was again found after the first body had gone to the mortuary. So this second body was also taken.
Right.
So fingerprints were taken on Saturday by Kikuyu police because the body was quite fresh. So they took the fingerprints when the body was fresh. And this was, for example, this was a Nairobi case, not a Kikuyu case, when it was reported on Sunday. So Kikuyu, on getting the fingerprints, would just forward the fingerprints normally to the registrar of persons on Monday for purposes of identification. So on Sunday, when the family reported this matter, at least it went all over.
Right.
And the mortuary staff said, no, but a body was brought on
Saturday morning.
On Saturday morning, and there are two bodies, and there's a male body. So they contacted police in the morning. At the time they were contacting the police chief in Nairobi, Kikuyu, also having gotten information, also called the police chief almost the same time that, sir, we had gotten a body on Saturday, which we were waiting to get the fingerprint results. Can you please find out if it could be the same body?
Right.
So with the same call from Kikuyu police to the police boss Nairobi, and also immediately another call from the mortuary, the police boss decided to call the family, and they went to city mortuary, and the body was identified.
Right. Now, as you rightly put it earlier, you know, when you said that this was an assassination, that it means that we're taking a
I've not said it was, yeah,
I'm just saying what is, yeah, so it's not an assassination. We cannot conclusively say that. Yes. But let's also take into consideration this is a man who was literally the face of the IEBC polls technology. Yes. And there's been a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of speculation that has been going around, especially on social media. Maybe you can help us denounce these myths. There's been messages on social media that his hand was cut off, that, you know, maybe the killers may have used that because, you know, in terms of fingerprints to access the KIEMS system, where if any rigging was to take place, it would take place there. Is it true that his body was mutilated? First
of all, we must admit that this gentleman was handling a very important docket in the forthcoming elections. But I also want to say that the system, the integrated system, is a system that was procured from a certain institution. And there are experts that are working. Even himself, he was trained on it.
Right.
So there are experts who are foreigners who are working on this integrated system. So in event that there would be any interference, for example, somebody may think that, oh, his biometrics have been taken and therefore there would be an interference in the system. If there is interference in the system, then the people working on the system would be able to detect. In such a case, the police would come in it would be a very good lead for us that somebody is interfering. Is interfering from what point? But first of all, I would want to state that the deceased fingerprints, the deceased hands are intact. He is in the mortuary, and I think the family, they have seen him, the police have seen him, and I think the hands are intact. But there are signs of a struggle on the neck, and there are also some signs of injury on the back of his head, but that will be dealt with by the pathologist.
All right.
What I can say is that some of these speculations can easily divert the direction of investigations. I've just told you that, for example, we can have a difference with you today, and somebody can take advantage of that difference that we have to kill me on a different
and it will look like it was me.
Yes. So in these cases, you need to be very broad, because you may take a certain direction, and because like the position, like let me tell you, if you look at the situation as it is, especially the timings, we are just a few days to elections.
Right.
A normal thinking man would not go for that kind of a person, because you would know definitely the blame, first of all, as usual, the blame goes to us police. And we always take the blame because we are in charge of everyone's security.
Right.
And when such like things happen and we are blamed, we take it. The only thing we do, we cannot run away from it. We try our level best to ensure that at least we come up with a result that would be able to clean our image and maybe the image of the state.
Right.
So I can assure you that we are doing our level best. For your information, Msando comes from my village. He's my personal friend. But given that I'm a policeman and I'm entitled to do certain things, I cannot start crying because life comes and life goes.
Absolutely.
And at times, it reaches a moment where, as an individual, you have to accept the will of God. So what we are saying is that let us not over-speculate. Let us give opportunity to the investigators. Time will judge us. Whether what we are doing is right, whether what we are doing is wrong. These are things, you see, a person's blood can never go for nothing. In one way or another, when somebody loses his life in that manner, the truth comes out eventually. I know it's painful. I know many people would want to get answers, but I would humbly request that let's give the investigators opportunity. And I would also want to advise that sometimes people may not trust police as much because we are in charge of security, and therefore whatever happens, we'll get the blame. But we have other institutions. We have the Witness Protection, we have the DPP, we even have our Civilian Oversight Authority, IPOA. I would request anybody with information, instead of unleashing it, because you see, you may unleash an information to the public, and yet and maybe it is true. And you give the person who has committed the offense an opportunity to find his way out of it. So what we are saying is that these institutions give us as much information as possible. Where you feel you cannot give us information, give information to Witness Protection, give information to our Civilian Oversight Authority, give information to DPP. We are working together, the CID and DPP, on this matter. But it's a very unfortunate incident. We would not want to divide our country, especially at this particular time, no matter what has happened. We would ask everyone to be calm, ask for Kenyans to be consistent on what they are doing. We are a few days to elections, and you know these elections must go on. Right,
but of course, Mr. Questions still are arising over this, which we are yet to exhaust. Now, the question we're asking our viewers this morning is whether they believe that the police will actually find the killers of Chris Msando, especially given the track record of pending investigations. I mean, there still has been no word on the likes of Jacob Juma, the likes of George Mushai. So, in terms of really, communicating to Kenyans and ensuring that this matter is found, another issue came into fore, and that is the issue of witness tampering, because the car that was found was towed later on, and there's been word that there was no forensic evidence done before the car was towed. Was that evidence tampering?
One, it baffles me when people say that Muchai's killers have never been nabbed. I think Muchai's killers were nabbed, and they were charged appropriately. I'm not very sure, but you would find that even there could have been conviction, so it's wrong to say that. We attend to very many murders. We attend to very many cases. It would also be fair that the media houses get record, so that when you want to attack, you will never get policemen from Rwanda or Uganda. It's just us. You have to make the best out of us. And sometimes when you over-criticize your own institution, you damage it. One way you damage it is that you are not allowing us even to get the best children to come and join the service. You portray us very negatively. Well, one or two cases we may fail, but majority of cases we are doing well. We have tried to secure you, and I believe that most Kenyans are happy so far with much of the security things that happen. But I can tell you, it's very difficult, madam, to prevent murder. Today, God forbid, you can be murdered at home. We may not have a way to prevent it. We will just have to establish what caused it. Because even me, if you want to murder me now, it's very easy. You can do it if you want to do it.
Yeah, but the question is, how committed are police really to finding these killers? Because the question is surrounding the car and why it was stored before forensic evidence was done.
The problem we have is too much suspicion. And that is why I was giving alternatives. I'm trying to be broad and reasonable. I'm giving alternatives that if you can't trust the police with your information, give it to Witness Protection, give it to DPP, give it to our oversight authority. You remember there are cases where we have arrested even police and charged for murdering people. And even still we get criticized, even when we have done it. The issue of forensic, of towing of the vehicle. You cannot leave the vehicle where it was by the side of the road. I don't know what those people meant by forensic, because this was at 1 p.m. at night. Our CID officers visited the scene. They did, because we cannot remove the car from the scene before dusting it. We must photograph it, we must dust it, and take all our forensic undertakings that are required in that particular place. And for your information, we have very good forensic experts, and the DCI is working so much on our forensic lab. So we did that, and if somebody is saying that it was not done, then it is just mere speculation.
All right, so that was done. Now, one more thing that came to the fore was something posted on Facebook by Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria, and this has raised uproar among Kenyans, especially in the manner in which he depicted the late Chris Msando. Now, the Facebook post has since been taken down, but it alluded to the fact that Msando was enjoying himself somewhere on Thika Road in Nairobi in the company of a woman. Now, many questions have arisen, especially as to who probed Moses Kuria as to the whereabouts of that car. Was the security services, were they aware that the car was there? Why did this have to involve Moses Kuria?
One, Moses Kuria is a politician. And you know the way politicians behave,
right.
Their mannerism. What has happened is, first of all, it is unfortunate for such a statement. If, you know, sometimes social media, I must also go back to the forensics and be sure that that posting was really actually done by...
We did see a picture,
no,
to be fair, with him right next to the car.
I'm a policeman. And my face is the face of the nation, including your face. I would not come here and make a statement that is unprofessional. Remember, my background is CID. I'm a CID officer by background. You see the uniform I put, but my background is criminal investigations. I would want to be as professional as possible. What I've said is that this gentleman is a politician. And sometimes politicians have their ways of doing things. And politicians also do things that they think would favor them in getting votes where they are. But what I'm saying, if it is true that he made such a statement, it's unfortunate. And I think there are investigators dealing with some of these issues, because when you make that kind of a statement, and it is true you made it, it is established that you made it, then number one, it puts you in an awkward position, because you will definitely be questioned on some of those issues. I believe the investigators will do that. But I would not sit here and say that that posting that was in social media was actually done by Moses Kuria. It would be very unfortunate from my side, unless the forensic experts actually confirm through ICT that this was from his Facebook account. Because nowadays you see a lot of postings which are not genuine. Genuine or authentic. Yes. So I would not say that his posting was not genuine, but it would be unprofessional for me to victimize Honorable Moses Kuria in the face of all Kenyans, without first of all establishing if that posting is actually
was indeed true. And like I mentioned, there was a picture with him
it would be unfair, and also
the car.
it would be unfair also to discuss evidence at this particular time.
I understand that, and of course the question is whether there are loopholes as to because his movements have been traced as to when he was last seen alive to when he last disappeared. But we'll get to that. After that killing, we saw IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati come out demanding for security for his IEBC officers. What measures have been put in place for the security of the IEBC officers?
One, the commissioners have security, and some of the top officers, depending on the necessity.
Maybe just before you finish commenting on this, let's first listen in to what Wafula Chebukati had to say.
We are a few days from elections, and we all know it's the duty of the government to provide security for all Kenyans. And at this point in time, I demand from the government that they provide security for all employees of IEBC for us to give Kenyans a free and fair election. We are working with the police and the family to ensure that the killers of Chris Msando must be brought to book. As a commission, we are looking forward that all Kenyans must be secured, all employees of IEBC must be secured for this country to have a free and fair election.
So that is IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati. They're demanding that security. So what measures have been put in place?
One, we've been working with IEBC for the last over 2 years now in preparation for these elections. I hope you are aware that all ballot papers have arrived in the country. And within this week, we are sending them to constituency tallying centers so that they can be distributed to polling stations. What's happening is that we are securing IEBC employees, especially at this particular time. Like, for example, if you go to constituencies, we have the returning officers. These are very important people to us. And the respective county commanders and OCPDs are under very clear instructions that they must be given security that befit them at this particular time. Because you remember, once the ballot papers arrive at the end of the week at the constituency tallying centers, they have to be secured. We have to secure the returning officers, because if you don't secure the returning officer and somebody abducts him on the election day, or when he already has his results he wants to announce, then it would be a problem.
Right.
And I want to remind everyone that this is our country. We are not getting another country, and indeed a very beautiful country. We have a responsibility, all of us, to secure this country and to make sure that we are peaceful. Because many a times you find that much of this, the hatred that you see, come from individuals, come from groupings of people, and it escalates to a certain level. We, in the police, we become victims because we have to stop those kind of activities when they arise. So we are securing everyone, and the Inspector General has given his commitment that is, they are going to check on areas that may require more
security. I want us to go back to something that you said earlier, which is, of course, police cannot prevent any death or murder that really happens. But it is reported that Chris Msando had reported to police about death threats being issued against him. How seriously did police take this matter? And was there security beefed up for him after those? He
did not only report to police, he reported to me. You know, given that we come from the same area, he would feel I was senior enough and would report to me. And I personally referred him to Central Police Station, and he was referred to a CID officer. He recorded statements. With the CID, but in 2 occasions he became so busy. In 2 occasions, the CID called him, and so that there are numbers that he was to send back to CID, and he did not go. And they called me, and I called him and asked him, why are you not taking these numbers to police? And he told me, I think it has subsided. I think the threats have stopped, but I'm also very busy. I'll get time, I would go. When he died, I asked the officer, did he come back? He told me he cannot come back. This is a honest account from myself, because this is somebody who comes from my village.
Now, there are unconfirmed reports, which maybe you could confirm for us, that 2 IEBC commissioners have also reported death threats against them and that now are threatening to quit their jobs.
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of that. Maybe if it happened yesterday or today. But we would want to assure everyone that given what has happened and given the situation, let them not panic. The Inspector General will ensure that they are appropriately given enough security.
This is an incident that has continued to raise tensions in the country. I'd like us now to delve to the on the electorate now. Just 7 days from the elections, bus terminals have now become very busy with what has been described as a mass exodus from urban areas and from areas that have been termed as election hotspots. This is mostly because of fear of the elections. What measures have been put in place to guarantee the security of all Kenyans, especially on voting day?
Number one, during the registration period, there was a lot of voter transfer from one point to another. I know of very many friends who live in town who decided to register at home so that they would vote their preferred candidates at home. So a number of people are moving genuinely, but also I'm aware that there are a number of people, especially in the slum areas, who are not feeling very secure. And a number of them are moving their children where they think they will be safe. But this is out of, number one, our experience in 2007, 2008, and 2, the continued hate that Kenyans are building against one another. Because I don't know why Kenyans should keep on. People have tried preaching peace. You've seen NCIC trying to do a lot. You saw us the last 2 years arresting even politicians and taking to court for spreading hate speech and so on. But you feel in the minds of certain people, they still feel that they are not very safe. They are still not sure of what would happen. But from where I sit, I can ask Kenyans. It is Kenyans to make or break.
Right.
It is individual Kenyans to ask, why would I target my brother? For what reason? This is simply an election.
Right.
And the persons we are electing, if it's a member of parliament, is a Kenyan. We are not bringing in somebody from DRC to become a member of parliament here. And if there would be, then he would be a citizen, somebody who has stayed here. We are not electing a foreigner as a head of state. We are electing one of us. And we know the candidates. And we know in every election, only one person wins.
Right. Now, the integrity of the police service has also been put into question, especially with claims from the opposition that security forces, the security, several security teams may be used to rig the election in some cases, to suppress voting in opposition strongholds. And the allegations have not been just for KDF, but also for other security forces and the police service itself. Your thoughts with regard to those claims?
It's anxiety. It's time for elections. It's big to be a president. It's not a small thing. And persons fighting for these positions are anxious. They want the positions by all means.
Right.
Maybe save for the person who sits there, who may not be bothered much because he has sat there. But I think many people who are looking for the positions are anxious to get the position. And we know the dynamics of what is happening. What I have always told people is that we, the police, we fall under the executive wing of government. You know, we have the judiciary, they are independent, we have the legislature, then we have the executive. When a president is sworn in office, one of the greatest tools, you know, when you hear about serikal, the Luos call it serikal, the so-called government, serikali is always we, the police. The politicians who are elected, they join us. But constitutionally, they have the power to be our CEO. You, the public, will elect a CEO for us on Tuesday. That either the previous CEO continues or a new CEO comes in.
Right.
Are you getting me? He becomes our CEO, the CEO of the whole nation. But the instruments of power that is given, one of it that you must admit is police. It is police that you will always send, don't do this, don't do this, do this, and secure the country. So sometimes separating the police from the executive becomes very difficult.
Right.
And that is why you may find somebody having a feeling that maybe we are very close to the executive. It is because of the nature of our work. But when it comes to an election, we must be neutral because we are standing for the whole country. And we must, because for example, if a new person comes, he must work with us.
Right.
You will not bring a 10-year-old or a 15-year to come and take my 25 years experience. You won't. You will work with us. So what I'm saying is, our integrity is there. And those politicians, all of them have policemen in their gates, in their houses, in their cars. They have policemen. But the bigger picture, anxiety. So I would just request everyone, we are working to the interest of the nation.
Right.
We are not working to the interest of any individual.
Maybe in that same breath, and this is my final question, 21 counties have been mapped out as election hotspots in the country. How much more strict is security in those 21 counties as opposed to the rest of the counties?
When you talk about hotspots, we need also again to be broad. Hotspot on what? Because you find that what plays in Homa Bay and what plays in Mandera and what plays in Kwale are different. What makes Kwale a hotspot? We have gangs like MRC. We have competition. You know, apart from the position of the presidency, which is very highly competitive, the second level of government is now the county. And you can see the position for the county assembly is attracting engineers, is attracting lawyers to be members of the county assembly. And the position of the governor is becoming very attractive. So these positions are very competitive. The same way you see at national level, people start saying, oh, we are from Coast, we are from Northeastern, we are from Western. It's the same thing that happens in the county. When you go to Kirinyaga, you start hearing people saying we are Ndia, others saying we are I don't know what. You go to Embu, you start to see people saying I'm Embu, I'm Bere. Are you getting me? You go to Siaya, you start people saying I'm from Alego, I'm from Game, I'm from Rarieda. You see those divisions. You go even to the wards, to the ward level. You see how people talking about now clans and families. It's a disease that Kenyans have. It starts down there. Even in families where people have more than one wife, the children start saying, no, I'm from this mother, I'm from this mother. You see those kind of things, mediocrity. So the hotspot nature is not that there's something so big. It differs from one place to another. Like in Mandera, we have issues of competition of clans. We have issues of Al-Shabaab.
All right. Yeah. Finally, Mr. Owino, very briefly, 7 days to the election. As a spokesman of the police, can you guarantee Kenyans of security before, during, and after the elections?
I want Kenyans to guarantee me of security. I want Kenyans to tell me I'll not attack my brother because he's Kalenjin, because he's Kikuyu, because he's Turkana. I'll not attack my brother. Right. First of all, I want you, Kenyans, to assure us that you will not attack your brothers. But we want to assure Kenyans, if you attempt to attack your brother, we'll get hold of you. We will not give you the space to attack your brother. Right. So Kenyans, ensure your security. Move, go vote, go home. Let the agents who have been accredited remain at the polling stations. They'll take care of your interest at the polling stations. Don't attack your brothers. And IEBC have a responsibility to give us a credible election and announce whoever will win from the ward level to the national level. It is not our duty to guarantee you of security. It is your duty to guarantee us that you will not attack your brothers. You will vote peacefully. But it will be our duty that if you attempt to attack your brother, then we will deal with you. Right. And don't blame us for dealing with you if you attack your brother. There is no opportunity and will not allow our country to go to dogs. It is our responsibility and we'll do everything possible.
Thank you very much. It is Charles Owino, who is the police spokesperson, giving a very stern message to Kenyans to guarantee their own security before, during, and after the August 8th elections. Charles Owino has also demystified some of the issues surrounding the mysterious death of IEBC ICT manager Chris Msando. And that conversation brings us to a break on Kivumbi 2017. Do stay with us. When we come back, Michael Gitonga takes on the panel on the political point. Stay with us.